Joe Biden, in his call with Xi, warning of consequences if China supports Vladimir Putin's massive Russian offensive against Ukraine. But the Chinese government apparently not backing down from supporting Moscow, even telling the West, quote, the U.S. and NATO should also have dialogue with Russia to address the crux of the Ukraine crisis and ease the security concerns of both Russia and Ukraine. Let's bring in former Trump Deputy National Security Advisor, KT McFarland. KT, thanks a lot. So there's this phone call yesterday. Both sides have their own characterization of how it went. But ultimately, I think we understand that there have been threats to China, that there will be consequences if they support Russia. What do you take away from all this?
Well, I'm not sure what the consequences would be.
Yeah.
I mean, at the beginning of the Olympics, the Russians and the Chinese signed a joint friendship treaty, right? They said that there'll be no limit to their cooperation. And presumably, Putin said, look, I'm going into Ukraine and you better support me. And I'm sure that the Chinese leader said, well, you know, if we have to take Taiwan, will you support me too? So here they are, joined at the hip. And now in a month, Vladimir Putin has gone from being international strongman to international pariah. So China's kind of stuck. On the other hand, what they'll want from all of this is they'll want that Russian energy. You know, if the West sanctions Russian energy, the Chinese would be delighted to take it. They'll get it at bargain basement prices. So they don't want to end the bromance. They don't want to risk that energy imports. But on the other hand, they don't really be tied at the hip with an international pariah. China wants to be seen as a good guy. They want to run the 21st century and be seen as the noble nation, not the guy who's stuck with that Vladimir Putin.
So they're doing kind of the strategic ambiguity thing as it pertains to Russia.
Yeah.
Like, we'll straddle the line, take the economic benefit, help our guy, even though he's marginalized right now, in the hopes that they'll back us up. And, oh, by the way, we're both trying to get rid of the American-led free world.
Yeah, and that's the bottom line. They both want to get rid of the American-led free world for the 21st century.
Interesting. I need to get your take as well about the threats that are coming out of the Kremlin today. U.S. intelligence is warning that Putin may be willing to further threaten the use of nuclear weapons. Obviously, anytime we hear the word nuclear weapons and the use of them, everyone's ears perk up. Would these threats be credible? Do you think this is the type of thing we should be concerned about?
Yeah, absolutely. My concern, Pete, is how does this end? You know, what's everybody's goal here? Is the goal that somehow Vladimir Putin is defeated and he goes back to Moscow, tail between his legs? He can't do that and survive at home, and he knows that. He'll escalate, as you've just suggested. He'll escalate to some kind of weapons of mass destruction. Reports are, or he's claimed, that he's already used hypersonic weapons yesterday. And that totally obliviates the whole idea of, well, you know, get a no-fly zone or get those missile batteries in there. Hypersonic weapons defeat all of those. But is the other goal to say, well, we're going to let him just go and level Ukraine and kill every man, woman, and child in the country? Or is there some middle way? Is there some negotiation? You know, Zelensky has come out this week and said, okay, NATO's off the table. Well, that was one of Putin's original demands, that Ukraine says that they're not going to join NATO. As far as the American role, what can we do here? We have one really silver bullet that we should use immediately, which is to pump more oil and natural gas, drive the price of oil from $120 a barrel back to where it was a year ago under President Trump, back to $40 a barrel, and take away all of Putin's money. That's his piggy bank. You know, in America, our energy companies, because they're privately owned, they make money on $40 a barrel oil. In Russia, they need it well above $80 a barrel. Why? Because their oil companies and gas companies are owned by the national government, and that's what funds all of the government. Take away their piggy bank, and they won't be able to fight.
And the silver bullet you described is the one thing we know they won't use. And that's what's so sobering for so many people when you look at the conflict. And you mentioned endgame, and everyone kind of shrugs their shoulders and say, no clear one in sight. But thanks for your clarity this morning, KT. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Pete.
You got it.